call the meeting to order, noting that all of council is in present. For 3.0, do we have any additions to the agenda?
No, go ahead.
Acting Mayor Yusishin, members of council, I'd like to move 16.1 to 8.1. It's not a closed session item, it's reference Rose Ridge. So I'll just move it into 8.1, and I don't see her here yet, so.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so under new business, I'd like to, first item would be a whistleblower policy. Non-disclosure agreement of employees.
Would that be a 10.3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Under old business 9.0, this would be 9.3, sanctions. I think it would be 10.3 that we're on for new business? Again, okay, 10.4, request for a written legal opinion. And 10.5, no, we'll go old business. 9.4?
Yes.
Okay, 9.4, cash flow statement.
Okay, anything else? Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Councillor Kozak. All in favor? Carried. All right, adoption of minutes. Regular meeting of council, February 12th, 2025. Can I get a motion? Councillor Malante? Any questions, omissions, additions?
Yep, on page 4 of the February 12th meeting, it indicates that I requested a recorded vote, and it indicates here that I voted against the motion. I made the motion to direct administration to provide a report on the utilities recouped from Davis Developments, and it's noted here that I voted against it. And I revisited the video, and that's not the case.
With it being recorded, did you notice anybody that was marked in favor that didn't vote in favor
No,
of it?
no, it was
unanimous?
It was unanimous.
Okay.
The other thing that I noted, and maybe this is just because Deputy Mayor Yutishin is currently in the position, so maybe we can get some clarification. For the minutes, it says it has him noted as who the individual who would sign it. So is the individual who signs it the current chair, or is it the previous chair?
That's correct. It's the current chair. So if you were to think from one election to the next, if there was a new mayor, the minutes would still need to be approved and signed by the current chair.
Okay. Let me just double check and make sure. I believe that's it.
Okay. I have one on page 5 of 6. Under the motion carried of 25.059, it looks like there's a Councillor Harris moved to direct administration to arrange for Gary Wetch to attend a council and provide an update, but it doesn't look like we've got that resolved in the minutes, which I'm fairly certain we did. Yeah, but we don't have a motion carried under it.
That's correct. It doesn't show that the motion was carried, and the motion was carried.
Okay.
Oh, good catch.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor, as amended? Carried. Adoption for the minutes, special meeting of council, February 19th. Can I get a motion? Councilor Barry? Okay. Any questions, omissions, additions? All right, all in favor? All right, finance, 7.1, accounts paid as of February 21st. Can I get a motion for that? Councillor Malante,
I'll put forward the motion to accept the accounts as paid.
any questions? Councillor Harris?
Thank you. A couple of things that I noted. First of all, this is quite the deviation from the previous presentations of accounts payable. I went back just for example of the last meeting in January, and the totals were about $500 and some thousand for payables. And I noted that there is only was only $153,000 that was paid out. And it doesn't look like we paid anybody for this time period other than the visas, the receiver general, and the pay. So did we pay our bills? Because that's what would show here.
Good evening, Acting Mayor Yusishin and members of council. So it is correct what's showing, Councillor Harris. Cindy is away on holidays. So this past week, we have got caught up again on payables. So on the next council meeting, you'll see quite a large listing.
Okay, that's interesting, because maybe you can confirm something then. I was informed, and perhaps it's incorrect, that the reason why there were no checks issued is because we were waiting for the $2.5 million to come in for the operating loan.
No, we were just behind in getting payables entered with Cindy being on holidays. So this past week, myself and Quentin have been working on them and have entered all of them up to date, and you'll see that again on the next check listing.
Okay. I've been here since 2013, and Cindy certainly has been on vacation before, and this is the first time that this has ever happened.
Again, I have been short myself with Monique being on holidays, Cindy being on holidays, people being away sick, so my apologies. But Quentin and I have been working on them this past week, and we have entered everything up to date.
Okay. My second question is the check listing totals around $80,000, but yet the report shows 153. Why the anomaly?
That would be all payroll.
The what, $70,000 is payroll?
So, so that would be all of our casual and full-time staff for that time period.
So the ones that, okay. Well, then I guess that's all the questions that I have. Actually, just one last one. Under the visa accounts, the last entry of the RBC commercial visa purchase for $448, whose visa was that put on? It's not named.
I am sorry, I'll have to go back and confirm what the $448 is. It could be late payment charges.
Okay, well, it says purchase, but that's okay. If you'll report back next meeting, that'd be great. One more question, sorry. I noted that, I'm just confused. I was looking at the sequence of the checks, and the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 go up to 0198 and then to 2000. Is 199 next, or is it missing?
No, so what happens, the two differences between them is payroll's paid by direct deposit. So that's why the difference in the numbers. So check numbers are written 20250, so on, and
Yeah.
then direct deposit EFT started at 1, so we're at 2, no,
Okay.
that's not right.
Okay.
I might have started, I'd have to confirm, but that's the difference between the two. It's between EFT direct deposits and checks.
Okay, that makes sense then. All right, thank you, that's all I have.
Can I ask a question, actually?
No.
Councillor Harris, sorry, did you want to direct administration to return with that $448?
Yes, please, but.
So
don't-
that'll be
we
a
have
separate motion?
A separate motion, okay,
Yes,
yeah.
please.
Okay, so let's,
But, hold on, sorry to interrupt. Would that motion not become before accepting the accounts payable, or is it?
No, because there's a motion on the floor. You made a motion on the floor
Yeah.
and then have your discussion, then you vote on the motion. So then you can go ahead and make a motion after that motion.
Yeah.
To direct administration to return with an explanation to the $448 referring to the RBC visa.
Okay, but if we approve the accounts payable, it essentially means that we're approving, having no knowledge of what that charge is for.
The motion is to approve as information as presented.
Yeah.
You can still make a motion afterwards to return with that information.
Okay. Sure. Motion on the table then.
okay. All in favor? Or sorry, any other questions?
I'd like a recorded vote, please.
All in favor? All opposed?
And a motion,
Got a
I
motion?
would like to make a motion that council direct administration to report back the next council meeting, with, an answer regarding the charge, the visa charge for $448.
Any questions? All in favor? All opposed? Carried. All right, 8.1, I saw Susan come somewhere. Susan Berry, come on in. Sure. Yep. So if you can give us 1 second just to give this a quick perusal. Or if you want to just kind of explain to us maybe what this is saying. Because yeah, initially we had it in closed session, but we realize now that it didn't need to be. So Susan, welcome, and thank you very much for coming to talk to us. Can I get you to pull the mic down and turn your mic on? Thank you.
Good evening, members of council, administration, and members of the public. My name is Susan Berry, the Executive Director of the Rose Ridge Waste Commission. The landfill in its current location has been serving the community since 1980. In 2001, the Sturgeon Regional Landfill Authority transitioned to the commission, ensuring regional collaborative approach to waste management. Since then, we've expanded our programs and services to manage waste responsibly and reduce waste going to the landfill. We added our compost operation in 2012. We took over the operation of the Redwater Transfer Station from Sturgeon County. Rose Ridge now sponsors the biannual Household Hazardous Waste Roundups, and the fall one is always held here in Gibbons. Rose Ridge is now a Clean Farms collection site. We're segregating trees and branches and removing that waste from the landfill. And of course, in 2024, we opened our new public drop-off facilities to encourage greater segregation of waste. Supporting communities in the region with a curbside collection program is just the next progression in serving our community. Our motivation is to increase recycling rates, leverage economies of scale to get taxpayers the best price for the service, and align service levels across the entire region. The proposed motion in front of council tonight is to request that the town enter into conversations with Rose Ridge to explore coordinating waste collection services across the region. Passing the motion is not an unwavering commitment to full participation. It's an acknowledgement that your council sees enough value and benefit both for the municipality and the ratepayers to continue moving forward with this initiative. Rose Ridge has set aside money in their 2025 operating budget to proceed with planning to align the services across the region. If there's not enough interest in moving forward, Rose Ridge will just direct our efforts to other projects. At the conclusion of the service level review, there will be details describing the future services, the costs, and the implementation timelines. And at that time, your council will debate and vote on the new service levels only after they've been clearly defined. So attached in your agenda package, I think, is curbside collection fact sheet, and kind of a Q&A for board members and elected officials. And I don't know what else is included in there.
Is this the same one that was provided when we were in camera discussing this, or similar?
I believe it was, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, the only document that remains confidential at this point is the final report from Transitional Solutions. And that was the final report, and it was the financial feasibility study of moving forward with the regional services. And that document can be made public, but there's a bunch of financial information in there that would have to be redacted. So that's the only document that still remains confidential.
All right. All right, can I get a motion on this?
I'll move to accept it as information.
Actually, I think we're looking to see if we want to actually enter into conversation with Rose Ridge.
Okay, sorry, I'll make it enter into a conversation with Rose Ridge on the whole concept of the new way of doing garbage.
Not garbage, waste. All good. Any questions? Councillor Harris.
Is there, I mean, I'm not adverse to the idea, but is the benefit simply monetary? Like, I don't disagree with supporting the idea, but what's going to be the cost to us? Is there any cost, sort of projected if this actually goes through?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, we actually anticipate that there could be a slight reduction in cost to the ratepayer. Although in municipalities like Gibbons, currently your residents receive two-stream program at the curb, recycle and waste. We would intend to increase service levels in Gibbons. We need to add an organic stream and remove the organics from the landfill and reduce methane production in the landfill with the accumulation of waste. So the residents in Gibbons could actually see an increase in service levels for maybe a small reduction in cost.
Okay, my second question is going to the phase 2 and then subsequently the phase 3 with this idea. Am I correct in saying that right now we're just looking at the municipalities within Sturgeon County coordinating their this service, but the intention going forward is to really reduce the county residents' ability to go to the Rose Ridge and alternatively have their waste picked up, service by, is that the intention?
That's the intention, Mr. Mayor. We want to start with currently there's 6 municipalities that in the region. The 5 urban municipalities already have well-established curbside collection programs managed and coordinated through their municipalities. Sturgeon County is the exception of that. The intent is to slowly bring on subdivisions and hamlets and have the 3-stream collection in subdivisions and hamlets as well.
And should that happen, what's going to be the added cost to the municipalities? Because right now, the county residents don't pay for garbage pickups, so somebody's gonna have to.
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, the residents in Sturgeon County who currently receive collection at the curbs, let's call it that, are paying for that service through a subscription service. So they pay for their monthly pickup directly to the waste hauler. We see that there may be a differential fee for rural residents versus urban residents. The urban residents would not be subsidizing a service in the rural communities. So when we bring on Sturgeon County residents, in terms of the bulk buying and the bulk purchasing, the more households we bring into the program, when we bring in rural residents, the urban rates could actually go down.
Okay, that seems like a really big undertaking. So what about the actual operation of it insofar as having enough trucks to be able to, if the goal is to have, garbage trucks throughout, go from Redwater, that way, there's going to be, have to be a purchase of some sort of vehicle in order to accommodate all of the residents.
So in terms of the transition, currently all 5 urban municipalities are being serviced by GFL. We would transition and continue to use GFL, and they would outlive their existing contracts in those municipalities. And then bringing on Sturgeon County will be a slower transition at a different rate. There will have to be all kinds of public consultation with rural residents. We see, one of the assumptions we made in the project is that we wouldn't be going out and buying assets. We would continue to contract out the hauling and the collection of waste. So other companies, GFL could expand to the rural communities. E360 is another waste hauler in the region, currently servicing the rural municipalities. They could continue, we would work with all of the existing haulers in the region and slowly amalgamate all of these contracts.
Well, so we'll just keep the same, basically the same company that we contract right now to do it. Have we talked to them at all?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, good luck with that.
Yeah, for the residents, the only change that they'll see immediately is the addition of the green carts. It'll be the same trucks going down, probably on the same haul date, using the same existing waste carts. Your blue bag material will still go out on the blue bag. There'll be very little change on the streets for the residents.
One last question, if I may. Is this going to eliminate the option of municipal residents to get a dump pass and be able to go to the dump?
That won't change. That the intent, so there's always going to be waste generated in a household that can't go on the curb.
Okay.
And so the rationale behind having those dump passes is that residents can haul their own, like appliances,
Okay.
construction renovation material to the landfill directly.
Okay. So right now we're just committing to look into it.
Just
correct?
continuing through the process and
Okay.
entering discussions.
Sure.
And correct me if I'm wrong, what you said, the only thing that the households would notice would be the additional organic spin, but that's not happening anytime soon. We've got to go through all these discussions
That's
and
right.
all that, yep.
That's right. If it, Mr. Mayor, if at the end of this, let's call it a study, it makes financial sense for all municipalities to get on board. It makes financial sense to take advantage of the bulk purchasing and arrange contracts for 6,000 or 7,000 households instead of 1,000 households. Then yeah, there will be a transition plan, tons of public communication, but that's, likely a year away or more.
And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's been discussion, nothing finalized, obviously, about if a municipality chooses not to enter into this, that doesn't necessarily shut it down. Correct? Shut the entire program down.
Yes.
The other municipalities that are willing to potentially move forward and continue discussions, there's still that chance, even though one or two may decide not to.
That's correct. The autonomy to make the decision to join this regional program is totally left up to each individual municipality. Depending on the level of participation, the Rose Ridge Board of Directors would make a decision about whether they see value in moving forward.
I have one more question if nobody else does. Okay. Thank you. Number one, who's paying for the study?
Rose Ridges.
Okay. Number two, who's going to be the overseer? If should this be accepted by everybody and it, at the end result is that it's going to happen, who is going to oversee those services for each individual municipality?
It'll be Rose Ridge in collaboration with the municipalities.
Okay, my issue that I have with that is that right now, if it's the town that people call, should there be any issues with their waste collection? If Rose Ridge is the one that, ultimately would be responsible for that, I'm a little bit concerned that there's a lack of control from the council and the administration if we just hand it over to Rose Ridge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm completely biased and feel like we've been working collaboratively in a region for waste services for so many years that, and I know it's just my word, but we're not wanting to take over and destroy your existing programs and services. We want to enhance existing programs and services to the residents. We want to, do a better job of recycling, remove more waste from the waste stream, and we will work collaboratively with the municipalities. We haven't, we're about to engage in consultation with administration based on the outcome of these motions. And we'll talk exactly about which services it makes sense to transition to Rose Ridge and which services it makes sense to maintain in the municipalities. And we don't know exactly what that final program would look like yet.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Miliante.
I just got some questions on this. With regards to the conversation, that's all it is just a conversation, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. The other question I have is, does all of Gibbons' waste that is picked up or curbside pickup that we talked about, does it all go straight to Rose Ridge?
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I can't answer that. I'm pretty confident all of the residential waste picked up by GFL comes to us. If there are other contractors working in your municipality collecting waste, either through private contracts, that waste does not come to Rose Ridge. And part of this initiative is to make sure that all the waste generated in the region stays in the region.
Okay,
So
and then-
eventually, and I'm talking like 3, 4, 5 years down the road, we will be able to get control of the waste streams and make sure it stays in the region.
Okay, and then the other question I have is, from my understanding, there's always a council rep that is on the board, correct?
Correct.
And that stays on for as long as the council is part of that, or the municipality is part of it, right?
Absolutely. That's integral to our governance structure, that there's an elected official from each member municipality on the board of directors.
Who do we have currently from Gibbons? There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions? All right, motion on the floor then. All in favor? Oh,
Can I, I think that we should maybe read out, because initially Councillor Sandal said
gotcha.
except for
but it wasn't, yeah.
information.
Councillor Sandal changed his motion
Okay.
to the motion, so Councillor Sandal moved to direct administration to enter into conversations with Rose Ridge Waste Management Services Commission to explore coordinating waste collection across the region.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor? Carried. Susan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us to 9.1, Heartland Commons fencing.
Acting Mayor Eustace and members of council, we have been working on this, and I need to see if council can have some patience and the public have some patience. I am meeting with the developer on Monday. He was off on personal business, so I can get all of the correct information and bring it back to council with accurate and correct information. So I'm hoping to have it by next meeting.
Is this something then that we could be updated on outside of council meeting, potentially? Or would you want to hold on to it until the next meeting?
I would say from a council procedure, because it was a motion brought forward in a public meeting,
Should be in the
that it
meeting.
should come back to council in
Okay.
a public meeting.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll just need a motion for information potentially then? Or to table, probably a better idea, gotcha.
Well, you can accept the verbal report as information, knowing that it's coming back to the next council meeting.
Yeah,
Or make a motion that you return at the next council meeting, like, it's up to you.
Just
I
need
have
a
it as it can be accepted as information, or you can make a motion that council, direct administration to return to the next council meeting with the
I
information.
think that makes the most sense, yeah.
Okay,
Have a motion?
Consider that motion made.
All right, any other questions? Councillor Harris?
Two things. Perhaps I would like to ask Mr. Lowe to inquire about two things with the developer. First, it was indicated that the previous CAO had made the arrangement regarding who's going to pay for the fence. And I had gone back and looked at some of the prior meetings. I can't remember offhand the date, but I can get that information for you. And the previous CAO indicated that the costs of that fencing would be incurred by the developer. So that's my first thing. And I would just like to, Mr. Lowe, if you could remind the developer when you have your discussions with him that that is what the previous CAO said. My second note on that was I also had read over the development permits with the amendments, and there was no indication that it was to be just a 6-foot wood fence. It was actually a sound attenuation wall. So I'd like a little bit of clarification as to when the changes if the changes weren't as indicated by Mayor Deck last meeting, if you could.
Acting Mayor Yusish, members of council, Councillor Harris, that is why I'm waiting to talk to the developer. I have all these questions.
Okay.
And see if there's any email chain, anything that he has. So I want to make sure the information is accurate from him as well.
Okay.
And then I'll bring what I get back from him, and then we'll have to make our decision from there.
And if you like, I can email the link to the section of the meeting that where Mr. O'Malley had said that it was the cost was going to be absorbed by the developer.
If you could do that, I'd appreciate
Yeah,
it.
sure can.
All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor? Passed. 9.2, Davis Developments Utilities.
Good evening, Acting Mayor Yusishin and members of council. So at the last council meeting, a motion was put forward to bring back the recoup costs for the sewer utilities at Davis Developments. So to date, it's been $8,816.61, which works out to a monthly average cost of $678.20.
Oh, that was an inside voice face right there. Okay.
All right, can I have a motion for information?
I'll make the motion for information.
Questions?
Could you just repeat the monthly amount that the developer pays right now for that service?
The average monthly cost to date is $678.20.
Okay. And what is the monthly cost of that vac truck?
$12,050.
Wow. Okay, and if it was my understanding that that the truck was specifically purchased or leased at, up until this, when the bylaw is discussed further down the agenda, that the truck was specifically leased back whenever that development came online because the services were not ready yet?
Acting Mayor Yusish, members of council, Councillor Harris, when the initial thought came in with the holding tanks, there was an estimated given to us that it would cost $1,000 a day to hire a contractor to empty the tanks. So if we paid $1,000 a day, which was number was given to us, it would be cheaper for us to buy a vac truck than pay $1,000 a day to a contractor to buy 6 vac trucks. So that's why we went that route.
Okay. Why aren't the services put in? We paid for those services to be put in.
We didn't pay for those services yet. That is the services that have to come up from the Railway Ave all the way around into the system. We have water in there now and fire flow, but they put the holding tanks in temporary so they could put the commercial units in there and we can get rid of the service, the sewer from there. That's why they put the holding tanks in, temporary holding tanks until they get the lines in for the service.
And was this ever brought to council's attention that prior to this happening, like, you know, I mean, I don't recall, unless somebody else can refresh my memory, but back prior to the development starting, did we know that there wasn't gonna be a sewer line there available to them?
I would have to look back in the council meetings to see if it was brought up. I can't remember that, if it was or not, or what the development was and the plans back then. I could look back to see if I can find it.
I would appreciate that because, to me, as a lay person, servicing means servicing, like electricity and roads and whatever else, which would include a sewer line. And unless I'm mistaken, the missing sewer line, I don't recall that even being, discussed. And the fact that, please, council, correct me if I'm wrong, but the fact that the town is paying $12,000 to suck out the sewer for that development and the developer only pays $600 out of that, yeah, I have an issue with that. Anybody else? So perhaps when you're in discussion with Mr. Davis, we could come to some sort of agreement, because I do not think that there is any way that the town should be paying $12,000 a month for that primarily, and I do understand that the vac truck has been used elsewhere in town, but right now you're telling us that it's needed every day, right?
No, it's used, right now, twice a week.
Okay, so twice a week, 4 weeks in a month, that's 8 times per month at $1,000 a day is still less than the $12,000 lease payment that we're paying, right? Am I correct that it costs $1,000 a day? I was under the impression that it was every day that it's done.
We were under that impression too when we were given that information. Hence why it would have been cheaper for us to buy a vac truck than pay $1,000 a day to suck out sewer.
But that's incorrect. If we only do it twice a week and it's $1,000 per incident, 4 weeks in a month, twice a week, that's 8 times per month at $1,000 a day means $8,000 that we'd pay.
You're true, and I'm not arguing with you at that point.
Oh, I hope that council remembers this when we are going to approve the purchase of the Hydrovac truck.
Dale? Just 2 points. One, the $12,000 per month, I believe, goes toward the purchase of the vac truck.
Yes, it does.
Okay?
But the lease payment was $12,000 a month.
Yes, but that amount, that lease payment goes toward the purchase of the truck, does it not?
If I'm not mistaken, Tara, it's a
It's a
percentage of
portion.
that.
It's a portion. So for the first 12 months, we got 70% of the lease payments, and the last 6 months was 50% of the lease payments. So we're on to 18 months now.
Okay. And the second point, I believe the understanding was this vac truck would be used by other communities if they needed that service?
Councillor Barry, we do have good working relationship with other communities, and Public Works will, if they call and need assistance, we help them with anything, and same thing as they help us with anything. If we need something, they need something, with Redwater, Legal, Bonnecord, Morinville, we work well together with all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Good evening, Acting Mayor Yushishin, members of council, Councillor Harris. As well to keep in mind too, we are currently at 2 days a week. That's with the development not fully developed. We do have a daycare coming online soon and the other facilities within that other CRU unit. So we do have expectations of that to move out to at least 3 days a week with those coming online as well. and potential weekend days as well on that too, depending on the inflow.
Okay. If I may, anybody else got any questions? Okay.
Councillor Sandal?
Okay, so you quoted like this $600 each time, so that's what you're charging, that's, like I've had, when I was at work, we had vac trucks come in and do the same thing. And it was significantly more than that, even then, we're talking 15 years ago. We were paying like, once a day, it was at least $1,000, because I was signing the checks for it. So I'm not sure where your number came from.
So the number is currently on the amount of sewer extraction that the Public Works takes out. So on a cube basis, and then we times it by the wastewater rate that residents and commercial use. So last year our rate was $1.85 a cube, and now this year it's $2.05 a cube. So they're being charged the exact same amount as other businesses within the town.
Second to that, so then you're not charging for the truck driver, the diesel fuel, et cetera, and all that. So the
We are-
cost that's reflected does not reflect the true cost of vacuuming the tank out.
No, we're just vacuuming the cubes that they take out on each pump out.
But the $1,000 a day is a loaded rate,
Would
right?
be a
Driver,
loaded
that
rate
kind of
if
thing.
we hired a contractor to come in. So and then, yes, we're gonna pay for the disposal of the sewage, the rate per hour for the truck and the person that drives it.
Okay, but that's when we're given the information that it's $1,000 a day, that's
would
all
be-
in, right?
yeah.
And my second question is that, just so I'm clear, the 678 is per month.
That's an average per month. I took
Okay.
the last 13 months.
Yeah.
Added everything up and divided it by the 13.
Okay, before, I would actually ask then, Mr. Lowe, when you go and have your meeting with Mr. Davis, that this all be relayed to him? Was he aware that there was not going to be a sewer line immediately available to that development?
Acting Mayor Yusish, members of council, Councillor Harris, the conversations they had for the development, I will have to dig into to see exactly what was said to each other, because the town provides a place for the sewer to go, like we'll use Landing Trail where I live, the sewer lines are there, it takes the sewer away. So whatever the deal was when they bought the 4.5 acres, they said they would put holding tanks in, assuming that the sewer lines would be put in soon. That's the 14 million coming up from there. The sewer lines would be in, the tanks would be removed. It was a temporary fix. So is it on the developer, or did the town promise that? I cannot tell you that because I do not know what was said, but I will talk to Miles when I talk to him on Monday and see what he says.
Would that be recorded in the offer to purchase, or would it be recorded in the development permit? Somebody, like, I mean, that has to be somewhere.
I'm also meeting with our engineers on Tuesday morning, and I will see if they know anything about this.
Okay.
If I can dig into the information and see what the whole project was.
Yeah.
And what was said in the whole development.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, motion on the floor for information. All in favor? Carried. 9.3, sanctions.
Oh, sorry, I didn't write that down in the correct area, so thank you. Most of the community knows that there was a complaint made against me by 2 senior employees within the town, and that investigation cost the town $40,000 to conduct. And as a result of those findings, I had been sanctioned, which means that council made the decision to remove me from all of my council duties. That includes boards, committees, any town events, etc. My pay has also been cut, and I can't enter the town building, nor can I speak to any of the town employees at all. And in light of the recent departure of the CAO and the reasons for his departure, I think that I would hope that council can look at that investigation against me with an open mind and conclude that it is invalid at this point. And I request that council reinstate me immediately to all of my council duties. I request that council reinstate my pay to reflect our entire monthly pay. And I also request from council that they, my pay is returned to me retroactively from the date of the imposed sanctions. That's what I would like discussed right now. And I am sorry that I threw this on the agenda immediately and unannounced, but I have been requesting this from council since the beginning of January, since being notified of the departure of the CAO, and I have yet to receive an answer. So I didn't disclose any in-camera information, but I would like an answer, because I think that at this point, I should be reinstated with all that I noted. So.
Okay, so we can't make a decision without a motion, so we need a motion, I would assume, based on what you've just asked.
Yes, and I would actually ask that the retroactive pay be paid out as of Friday, which is payday for the town. There's my motion. Did you get that, Ms. Pinot? Reinstated to my council duties, my pay be reinstated to my full pay, as well as retroactive pay from the date of the sanctions were imposed to currently. I would like to make that motion.
All right, motion's made. Questions? Councillor Sandal.
I have a concern about the fact that this is I guess you call it a closed session discussion at the initial part, and if we're going to discuss it, I would like it to be in closed session in order to go through everything, because most of the information that was pertaining to this is legally held in closed session. We can't discuss it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would just like to clarify something. My letter of reprimand is public. The synopsis of the investigation is public. The cost of that investigation is public. The notation that 2 senior employees made this bullying and harassing complaint against me is public. I have not said anything else that is necessarily has to be discussed in camera.
I do agree that nothing you've said thus far needs to be discussed in camera, but I do believe the discussion, which would include details of the investigation, should be discussed in camera.
You all have the 580-page report that cost the town $40,000 that council decided not to release to the public. You've read it. You know what it says. You know what it's asked. And frankly, the reasons for the departure of the CAO are basically what I have been telling council for the last 3 years, which have been validated to council. Now, I don't know what else there is to discuss. I'm sorry, I've asked this via email privately without any response from anybody. So I'm taking it public. You want to make the complaints public? Well, then I'm asking for them to be removed publicly.
Councillor Monte?
So I do have a question. You did mention it in the past that you were in the middle of suing the town. Is that
Yeah.
still happening?
Yeah, for a sexual assault that was covered up.
Okay, thank you.
Has nothing to do with the sanctions that were imposed on me. Good try, though. What's your point?
I'm just asking.
No, I would like to know what the point of bringing that up right now when it has nothing to do with anything. Because I mean, we can go there if you'd like. I have 3 other individuals that had been sexually assaulted by Councillor McCann.
Yeah, I'm not bringing that part up.
You brought it up.
My thing was, are you still in the middle of suing the?
I am suing the town, and everybody knows why I'm suing the town. If anybody would like a copy of the statement of claim, which indicates exactly why I'm suing the town for liability and negligence, I will absolutely make one available. I'm not ashamed to say that.
Okay, any other questions?
My motion is, stands.
My only thing is there was 2 employees involved with,
Yep,
and one is still here.
yeah,
And I think that we should talk to that individual first. And this is a closed session item that we could discuss fully on it.
well,
I agree, we need to discuss it. Absolutely, we need to discuss it. But I don't believe open session is the way to do it.
open session or closed session?
Open.
Well, I'll tell you what, going down the line, my next, motion will enlighten the community, I'm sure. So, defeat my motion, go ahead.
All right, any other?
There's a
There is
motion on the floor.
Yep, are there any other questions?
I'd like a recorded vote, please.
All right, all in favor? All opposed?
All right,
All right, 9.4, cash flow statement.
thank you again. As in light of the departure of the CAO and the reasons surrounding his departure, following that, I was not at the meeting, but council had made, had accepted, put forth a bylaw, approved a bylaw, a borrowing bylaw for the amount of $2.5 million. That $2.5 million had to be taken out because, to use for operational purposes. I would like, council to, join me in directing administration to provide a detailed and bi-monthly, every 2 weeks. Is that right? Okay. A bi-weekly? Yes, thank you. A bi-weekly report at each council meeting pertain and providing information what that $2.5 million is being spent on.
Is that your motion?
That is my motion.
Okay. Any questions?
My memory is not really accurate, but I believe that Monique presented us with a proposal of how she was going to go about reporting back to council. It was very detailed. She's not here today to confirm exactly what all of the various reports were going to be, but my sense was that it was very thorough and that we would be informed in every way possible so that no other instances of misuse or mistaken use of funding could be made again. So I don't know that this motion is necessary.
I also think that she had stated that they would start in March, the first meeting in March.
The end of March.
Was it
Sorry,
the
I
end of
believe
March?
it was the last meeting in March. We are
Okay.
trying to get through the audit and budget right now, so she is hoping to get that, and then we could start that coming the end of March, beginning of April.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Did we receive the $2.5 million yet?
We have.
Okay, I'm not willing to wait till March because that $2.5 million was borrowed against our arena in order to keep the lights on and pay our bills. So, considering the grave financial situation that we're in right now, I think that it would be prudent for council to be up to date specifically with where that $2.5 million is being spent. I mean, I don't think that, even if it's on the accounts payable, they can note that it's being used for, I just think, you know, I mean, that $2.5 million can go out the window really quick if we don't know what it's being spent on.
Acting Mayor Yushishин, members of council, Councillor Harris, Miss Jeffries just got back on vacation. We'll talk with her tomorrow, and hopefully we can get that to you for next meeting. We'll see if we can break it all down and get it to you.
Okay. And this would be an ongoing, I believe my motion.
Yeah, your
was as such.
motion would be at each regular meeting of council, beginning with the next regular meeting of council.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Recorded, please.
All right, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. All right, new business, 10.1, deputy mayor appointment.
I'll move that Councillor Brary be promoted as the acting deputy mayor.
It would not be an acting position. It is the position.
I'll change it to whatever you said, thank you.
Any questions? All right, all in favor? Where are we? 10.2, whistleblower policy.
Thank you. I would like council to joining me in directing administration, specifically due to the reason behind the departure of the former CAO, to create an employee whistleblower program. And because I don't think that any of the town employees should ever be concerned with losing their job should they be witness to perhaps nefarious activities or activities that they observe in their capacity as a town employee. There should be, I know that other municipalities have this type of policy, and especially in light of the departure and the reasons of the former CAO.
Okay, do you want to make a motion around that?
That is my motion. Direct administration to create an employee whistleblower policy.
Any questions? Councillor Sandal?
I don't have a problem with the motion as it exists. The difficulty I have is that it should also state that it be vetted by the lawyers to ensure that we're not going against any of the provincial laws.
Sure.
Make that as a friendly amendment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Any other questions?
Recorded, please.
All right. All in favor? Opposed? All right, passed. 10.3, NDA for employees.
Okay, it's come to my attention that this is following the whistleblower policy that has been agreed upon. It's come to my attention that the former CAO had required all employees of the town of Gibbons to sign some sort of non-disclosure agreement. I do have a copy of that I can provide to council. And I would like to request, effective immediately, this is my motion, please, effective immediately, that policy be rescinded and off the books.
Councillor Sandal?
I just have a question. If you have a non-disclosure agreement, does that then allow our, well, I'll use her name, Chris Pinot, to talk about anything even in closed session, correct?
What I'm asking is for the non-disclosure agreement to be abolished. How can we have a whistleblower policy if we have a non-disclosure policy?
Councillor Berry?
I would need to see the current non-disclosure policy and have a little discussion over what it includes or does not include before I would be willing to make a decision on this.
Was it, no council member was aware of this?
So I would like to request if you'd be willing, if we could change the motion to table the discussion to give us time to see what the current one is.
Sure, I can provide that.
Okay.
So the motion is still on the floor. How should I handle it? Should I table the motion?
I would suggest that you just we just ignore that motion. That
I
you
could do
made.
a notice of motion.
Provide a notice of motion or table the item to appear. on the
Okay,
next
let's table the item then for the next meeting.
So you're going to move to table the item until the next
I will move to
regular
table the item and I will provide council with.
You'll provide it?
Yeah, I'll provide it with the document that I've been.
Thank you.
Provided with.
Okay, so we still need to vote on the tabling of the motion, right?
It's tabled, there is no motion.
Done.
Okay,
Okay, 10.4, written legal opinion.
okay. I wasn't here, when the information that was relayed with regards to the previous CAO's departure was given to council, although I have been briefed. And I would like council to join with me in directing administration to contact our legal department to determine whether or not the circumstances, the reasons behind his very quick ending of his employment with the town of Gibbons. I would like that disclosed to the community. I would like to ask that we consult with our lawyer to see if we can disclose the reasons why he left.
Okay, before we make that an official motion.
Yeah.
My question is, if I'm already, because now that I've been acting mayor, I've received some email from the former mayor. Looking for some specific things around those lines. Haven't found them yet.
Yeah.
So my intent was to reach out to the lawyer myself as opposed to directing
Okay,
administration.
I'm not asking whether or not the legal opinion was sought in how to determine going forward what to do with his departure.
Okay.
I'm asking that we provide the community for the reasons why he left.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I think that's very important.
okay. So the motion is to have administration reach out to legal to
Yeah,
get their thoughts on making that.
yes, to publicly disclose the circumstances surrounding his departure.
Okay, Councillor Sandal?
My understanding is that he simply resigned.
Um, I,
Any other questions?
no, I'd like a recorded vote, please.
All right, all in favor? All opposed? All right, passed. All right, that puts us 11.1 bylaw ALT 2.2 or 2-25 short-term boring bylaw for the Hydrovac truck.
Good evening. Is it still acting mayor, musician, and members in council? The purpose of this report is to respectfully request that council give consideration to bylaw ALT 2-25 short-term boring bylaw Hydrovac truck. So administration would like to respectfully request that council consider the following recommendations. 1, the council gives second and third reading of bylaw 2-25 short-term boring bylaw Hydrovac truck. Thank you.
All right, can I have a motion? I'll make a motion. Okay. Any questions? Councillor Harris?
I think that before we pass this bylaw, it might be a good idea to wait until Mr. Lowe reports back. In light of the previous conversation earlier this evening about the costs associated with the actual reason for that truck. So I think it would be premature to buy it until we figure out how we're gonna pay it and whether or not we need it and whether or not it is the developer or the town who is responsible for that service.
And based on, me personally, based on the comments made earlier around you're still investigating, I think it's more prudent for us to table this one for now, awaiting, as Councillor Harris said, you getting all the information and really making sure what makes the most financial sense for the town. So if the motion's, Councillor Berry?
Just a question for Eric. What are the consequences of us delaying this? Are there any consequences regarding how the service is going to be provided and how much cost will the town incur over and above what we would if we were to pass this now?
The current rate, I would have to get Public Works to check into, to see what the rate would be. If we get rid of the Hydrovac truck and we hired like Rennie's to come and do it, I'd have to get Public Works to check into that cost.
I don't think that's what she's asking, though. I think she's asking, is there, because we're already paying the lease on this on a monthly basis right now, right?
We're still currently paying the lease on it. We just aren't receiving any of the payback. That 70% we received for the first 6 months, 50% for the next 6 months. So we aren't receiving any of that now to go towards the purchase price of the back truck. So right now we just pay the lease amount per month. So
But
I don't think we're in a contract with it. We'll have to look further into it. I think it's just on a per month basis right now until we wanted to purchase it. So they're holding that amount that we had put down previously in the last year to put towards the purchase price of the truck.
But none of what we pay per month currently
Goes
is
towards
going
it.
toward the
No,
purchase of the
that's
truck.
correct. That's correct.
That ended in December. I think that was the last one, right? I think that's what she said.
12 months, so it's actually been for the last couple of months. We haven't been receiving any money back on that lease.
Can I comment? Okay, Mr. Lowe, when is your meeting with the developer?
He's gonna get a hold of me Monday, so I'm hoping Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Okay, so essentially, we would pay 1 more month before making this decision to purchase it for $300 and some thousand. And within that month, that discussion is going to occur. We're gonna be able to find out, the particulars of who's gonna pay what, whose responsibility it is. I think that, that's a little bit smarter of a way to do it rather than pay for it now and hope that we can get any money back later.
Councillor Kozak, you willing to adjust your motion to table this?
I'll adjust my motion to reflect that we put this off until we hear back from the developer and from Mr. Lowe.
Most likely the next meeting, I would assume, correct? Okay. All right, all in favor?
Hold on, I'm a little confused. Wasn't there a motion on the floor for a second reading?
It was, but
Yeah, but he made a
Okay,
friendly
so you
amendment.
rescinded that motion and then just to table.
to
Okay,
table.
good.
Yep.
Good, thank you.
all right, 12.1, administration reports.
Stephanie?
Acting Deputy Mayor, members of council. So today is Pink Shirt Day. Thank you for everyone wearing your pink shirts. The Youth Cookies with Council was this afternoon, as well as a bullying presentation was held tonight at the Youth Center. Our family day events were well attended. We're currently still accepting positions for our seasonal summer positions. International Women's Day event is on March 9th, and that registration is opened until March 1st, and then just again, please see the newsletter and our website for more events.
Good evening, Acting Mayor Musician and members of council. So in corporate services, we're working on our 2025 operating capital budgets, cash flow management, and working on the 2024 audit. Thank you.
Good evening, Acting Mayor Musician, members of council, Public Works. Currently, we're working on water meter changeouts as the appointments are made and as time permits. Snow removal and sanding operations are ongoing. Equipment maintenance and repairs are as necessary. We're also working on drainages now on the catch basins and surface drainage with the fast, quick melt we're experiencing this past week. And pothole season is becoming upon us, so we're going to be starting hopefully tomorrow on repairing all the potholes in town as quick as we can there. Thanks.
Acting Mayor, Assistant Members of Council, Fire Department, so county calls were at 25, town calls were at 32. We did have a structure fire when it was -40, and yes, it's cold fighting fires when it's -40. It wasn't in town, it was out in the county. So it was cold enough that the tenders serving us were freezing. I ended up filling them inside the fire hall with the hose. That's how cold it was. But we saved most of the house. That's the main thing. A lot of our calls in town are medical, so that's still a hot topic here. The only really thing for me is Gary from Landrex will be here on the 9th of April. We set up an appointment at your request. That's the earliest I could get him in here.
Is that the next council meeting?
No, well, not the 9th of April, that's a month away.
Okay, oh, like that's a council meeting
That's a
date.
council meeting,
Okay,
yes.
thank
that's a
you,
council
perfect.
meeting. Yeah.
Anything on the interim CAO side?
No, just the meetings I went to, but you guys were at some of them, and I'm meeting every second week with Landrix and their engineer, going over all the projects, making sure they're ongoing, and we met with P3 today, so, and I am meeting the CAOs of different, within the counties, just to get my feet wet, so.
All right, can I have motion?
I actually would like it,
Motion first, okay.
well, I don't know. It's,
Do I need the motion before?
I just have a question for Mr. Lowe, that's all.
Okay, go ahead.
I can't wrap my head around something. We're paying a whole bunch of consultants for a development that we don't have the funding for yet. We haven't received the answer from the provincial government yet about the additional funding, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so,
Your question, I can answer that, because I thought the same thing, why are we paying consultants? And actually, we're meeting as a team with them and going over these items with them, these exact items. I'm meeting with everybody on the list and seeing why we're paying them and what we're getting out of it, and then I'm gonna bring it back to council and I'll let you know.
okay.
So, I've been working on that.
But here's where I'm a little confused. That is a Landrex development that is earmarked for that area. Landrex. And we're paying Landrex for consulting with us on a development that we're, it's suggested that the town is going to carry the servicing costs. That does not even make sense to me.
Councillor Harris, I am on the same page as you, and that's why Gary is coming, and he is going to answer these questions for you, because that's what I'm trying to figure out too. So I am working on that. You just gotta, there's a lot.
It just sounds like a major conflict of interest as far as I'm concerned.
And I'm not disagreeing with you,
Okay.
so.
Well, I urge all the residents to try and attend that meeting on
Yep.
the 9th. Thank you. I'll make a motion to accept his information.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? All right, committee reports. Councillor Sandal, let's start with you.
Okay, February 13th, I went to the Emerging Trends Conference with Brownlee, and on the same day had a Zoom meeting with the Victim Services. February 24th, Water Commission meeting. 25th, an Indigenous information course, which consisted this time of reviewing all the treaties with the Indians in the area. Also, Indigenous is not a correct term. The correct legal term, I was told by the lawyer, is Indian, Inuit, or Métis, nothing else. Anyway, today I went to Cookie Day with the kids and helped decorate cookies. Thank you.
February 13th was Emerging Trends, and then this afternoon, Cookies with Council with the kids at the youth center.
As per my sanctions that were imposed, April of 2024 regarding a harassment complaint. I have nothing to report.
Councillor Malonte? Nope, start with you.
Sounds good. February 16th, attended the Family Day skate event for Gibbons. And then February 19th, obviously attended the special meeting that we had. Thank you.
I attended the cookie decorating session over at the youth center this afternoon. I really quite enjoyed it. I loved talking to the kids. There was a prospective baker amongst them. Told her that I was looking forward to a bakery with her name on it sometime in the future. Yeah, it was very positive. And that's it. But I do have one other suggestion. It has come to my attention during this meeting that at least one of the people in the audience has been speaking out. That is not allowed. You are not to speak to any item.
You just are, ma'am, so we're gonna ask you to not. All right, February 13th, I also attended Emerging Trends, and I gotta say, it's actually the best one I've attended in the 3 years. It was a really good one this year. Lots of relevant information. Same day, February 13th, I attended Rose Ridge Waste Management meeting. And then I forgot to let you know, Ms. Pino, about Cookies with Council today. All right, can I get a motion?
I'll move accepted information.
All in favor? All right, and with that, let's adjourn for 5 minutes
No, we
before.
have-
You have some,
Oh, I'm sorry, there is
correspondence.
one more. There's correspondence, 14.1.
Do you want me to do the report on that one? Okay. Just being on the Sturgeon River Watershed Association Committee, we applied for the ACP grant. For those who don't know what that is, that's the Alberta Community Partnership Grant. And it's because of the river that we have that flows through the town. And we connect all the way back through St. Albert and further west, about 162 kilometers. And we just got awarded $200,000 in funding to maintain the advancement of the SRWA management plan. And again, these are contributions in maintaining the stewardship of the river. That includes identifying biodiversity, all of the pieces that come with the stewardship of the river. Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion for information? Councilor Monte? All in favor? All right,
Mr. Chair, before we adjourn for, or recess for the in-camera, prior to the in-camera, I just have a question. Ms. Pinot, I'm at liberty, or I have the ability to request from council to add an agenda item anytime during the meeting, is that correct? And they can decide whether or not I add.
yeah, your council procedural bylaw does not stipulate when council can add something to the agenda.
Okay. If I may, I would like to add, I suppose, personnel regarding the request that I had made about my reinstatement to be added to the in-camera so that discussion can happen.
okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but because it was defeated, she can't make that motion right now, but somebody that,
No, I'm adding it,
Yes.
I'm adding the discussion. You guys want to discuss it. So I'm adding an agenda item to the agenda, to the closed session section, so that you can discuss it. I have asked numerous times without any answer. I'm not making a motion to revisit, or the prior motion that was defeated. If
okay.
council wants to
you
discuss
just
it.
you just want the opportunity for it to be discussed.
Yep, and then whatever comes out of that, should there be a motion, I understand that if it's exact motion, I can't remake it. If it's
That's
a
correct.
different one, I can make it.
Yeah, so you're not asking to revisit the motion, only to have a discussion.
Yeah,
Again, whatever comes out of that
added,
discussion,
added as personnel, I guess.
it'll be, I just put it down as discussions on sanctions.
Yeah.
And they'll just be covered under section 19 of FOIP.
Sure, thank you.
All right, Any questions? Councilor Volante?
You want me to put forward the motion? Or are you going to do it?
think that
I'd
was
like
it.
to add, I don't know, does it have to be a motion?
It does have. Pardon me, yes, it does have to be a motion, because
Okay.
you're adding to the agenda, and it does have to be voted on.
Okay,
I'm okay with putting that motion forward.
okay.
Motion forward. Okay.
Can I have a recorded vote,
Any
please?
questions? All in favor? All right, passed.
Thank you.
Now I think we go on a recess before going into closed session?
Call
5
a
minutes.
recess, yeah.
All right.
Just so everybody knows, we will recess, we reconvene, it will be a closed session, public is not allowed in the room. But once we return, we will reconvene a public session.
Sure. One more time. Yeah, all in favor of moving into closed session? Have we got everybody back from outside, I think? And we're back online? We are. All right. Can I get a motion for 16.2, management presentation?
I'll move 16.2
Okay.
as information.
To accept as information, yeah. All in favor? Okay, I think, Chris, we figured this out. 16.3, there's gonna be two motions coming out of it. So 16.3A, can I get a motion regarding the, letter of reprimand?
I'll make that motion
Okay, to accept the letter?
to, yeah,
Well,
Okay.
no, wouldn't it be to, post?
That was B,
that's B.
Oh, to
So
post that.
it-
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Is there not a whereas, council? No?
I don't know.
Okay, so you guys made a motion. The motion is to what? Just post a letter?
Accept the letter as
Accept the letter as presented
presented, yes. And then
And-
the second one will be for the posting.
and to post the letter. So two separate motions you want?
Does
Yeah,
it have to be?
It doesn't. You can accept the letter as information and to post it as discussed.
Sure.
Okay, let's do that.
Recorded vote, please.
All right, so just to be clear, this is for both the acceptance of the letter and the posting? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? And can I get a motion for 16.4 regarding sanctions?
I'll make the motion for 16.4.
Okay, and the motion is to table it to
Table it till, next council.
next council meeting following receiving information. Okay?
Until further information is received, or?
We're,
Just tell them to be discussed at the next.
it'll be discussed at the next meeting, yeah.
Is it going in as a closed session item on the
Yes.
next meeting?
Yes. All right. All in favor? I think we're adjourned.